What's up, my beautiful people? We are back once again to some malicious compliance. So let's get in the stories, and I'll see you in a bit. The egg can't break, you say? My mom reminded me this weekend about this childhood malicious compliance. One day, when I was in elementary school, many years ago, we were given an assignment to create a contraption that would protect an egg from a drop. My school had 4 stories, and the higher a drop it could sustain, the better you were judged. After reading the assignment, I realized that although creativity in design was encouraged, it wasn't explicitly required. I can only describe my design as a monstrosity of bubble wrap, styrofoam popcorn, and a collection of boxes that would rival Amazon's. I showed up at school with my design, and my teacher immediately questioned it. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something along the lines of, "I followed the rules." This story has become a cherished memory of mine, because apparently when they followed up with my mom to encourage her to review, complying with the spirit of things, her reaction was to tell them that my ingenuity was impressive to her, not a teaching moment. Thanks, Mom. Nasty manager versus me. This happened about 15 years back when I was able to work. We had this nasty manager that no one could stand. Now I had a desk job, and I was good at what I did. I was quick too. I had gone to the bathroom, not on my scheduled break, but no other managers had cared before, since we were all adults. When I came back, there was the nasty manager we had just gotten. She was livid that I went to the bathroom, and informed me I needed to let her know anytime I was leaving my desk. Okay, not a problem. 10:15, I'm going to get more work. 10:16, I'm back. 10:40, gotta get more work. 10:42, back, there was a line. 11:30, off to get lunch. 11:59, I'm back. 12:30, gotta get more work. 12:31, back. Manager, okay, enough. You've made your point, just do your damn job. Me, will do. She never bothered me about going to the bathroom again. Want to be a selfish witch? Enjoy your orange hair. On mobile, sorry for formatting, etc. I'm a hairstylist. Last Wednesday between clients, I decided to run to the gas station to get an energy drink and was hit by a car coming out of the parking lot. My own car was totaled. The cops came, both cars were towed from the scene. I texted my next client apologizing and telling her that due to a serious accident, I would need to reschedule her appointment. She said she needed her hair done before the 4th of July. I was standing in the street, looking at my car in pieces, on the phone with insurance, fielding questions from the cops, and still texting the salon owner asking if anyone could take my client today. The owner said she would figure it out, and would make sure my client could still be seen. I passed this info on to the client, who said she only wanted me to do it, and needed to get in ASAP. So, in the melee, I'm still worried about this client, who is a bad client by the way, and constantly complains about her hair, demands free redos, and only pays about 70% of the typical cost of her service because she manages to manipulate me into that price point when I was a newer stylist. I see in my schedule that I have absolutely no room to fit her in before the 4th. So I walk back to the salon after my car was towed away and just take her anyway. Once I get in, she doesn't ask if I'm okay, doesn't thank me for taking her anyway, but instead launches into a 3-hour-long brag about all the guys who are super into her and how she's been dating a business Mongol from New York. The service goes as usual. I finish her hair 3 hours later and am about to take the cape off and send her on her way when suddenly she has a problem with the color. She says it's too ashy. It's the exact same formula and color I've done on her for years, but today it's wrong for some reason. Trying to remain cheerful and professional, I tell her that I'll put a new toner on her, no problem. At this point, my grandma's on her way with my daughter to pick me up. I text my grandma saying I'll be a little later. I tone the client again and blow dry her hair for a second time. The client insists that the color is still too ashy. I explained that the second toner I used is the most golden toner that exists, and there's nothing less ash that I could put on her. Except for an opaque sort of gold pigment. She's clearly just being a sadistic witch. At this point, my grandma comes into the salon and asks if I'm ready to go. My client is looking at her hair and says, "You need to do something else. I can't leave like this." So my grandma goes back to wait in the car. I decide to use a very, very gold color and tone it again for the third time. She comes back to the chair and her hair is noticeably less ashy because it's practically orange. "I hate this," says the client. "I'm going to dinner with the guy from Newport tonight. I liked it better the first time. You need to do something else. Just do it like you did the first time." "I've done your hair 3 separate times at this point," I say, packing my stuff up. As you know, my grandma and daughter have been outside waiting for me. Unfortunately, there's nothing else I can do, since now there's layers of toner on there, and a 4th layer will only make it worse. "I hope you have a great week." I took her payment, which she scoffed and forcefully handed to me, and I left. It was maybe not my most professional moment, but I'd been looking for an escape from that client for years, and it was worth it. You kids come down here right now. My mother suffers from occasional malapropism and phrasing things out of order or completely opposite to what she meant. For example, she once saw a kid with white hair and exclaimed, "Look at that boy with the coal white hair." Coal white? Mom? I have a younger sister and brother who are 5 years and 10 years younger than me, respectively. And we have 2 cousins, a boy and a girl, who are about the same age as me and my sister, also respectively. I would have been 11 or 12 when this happened. So my aunt and uncle lived about 50 miles from us, and we only got together once in a while. They had come down for a visit one summer day, and while my mother and aunt were catching up in the kitchen, all of us kids went upstairs to play. In our old house, we had a huge playroom that was directly above the kitchen. Being very excited kids, we were being particularly rambunctious this day. We were so loud, in fact, that my mother had to come to the foot of the stairs once or twice to yell up for us to be quiet. It wasn't working. Finally, in a fit of exasperation, my mother very sternly yelled up, "I want all of you kids to come down here right now and just listen to yourselves." Being the little smartasses we are, we dutifully obeyed. Once we all got down, we put our hands to our ears and listened. Crickets. My mother just walked away, embarrassed, but smiling at her slip-up. Don't leave customers in the middle of their orders whilst you black out. I worked at McDonald's for a little over 2 years, and the store location is near a stadium. So whenever there are events on, such as football, rugby, boxing, concerts, we get busy. Now, working in a fast food chain, it gets warm quickly. And when it's crowded and warm and I get stressed, I have a tendency to end up blacking out. So this particular day, there's a football match on and the store is getting busy. There are a lot of customers and a lot of staff. We're serving customers and getting orders sorted fairly quickly. I'm in the middle of serving a customer when I can feel myself starting to black out. So I turned to the floor manager and told her what was happening, and if it was okay to go and get a drink. She said yeah, and took over serving the customer for me. As I'm having my drink, I'm stood behind the ice cream machine because we aren't allowed to drink in front of the customers. When the shift manager comes over and tells me I'm not allowed to leave a customer mid-order. So I go back to taking orders and serving customers when I can feel myself blacking out again. Don't leave customers when you're serving them, I think to myself. Okay, and I proceeded to pass out. I'm now laying on the floor, causing more issues than if I had just gotten a drink. There are about 4 managers, including the main boss, all trying to help me. I can hear customers trying to tell them what to do. When I come back around, I'm escorted through the kitchen with the manager and to the crew room, and I get to go home early, leaving them even more understaffed and struggling. College printing balance. This is my story from 8 years ago. Like most colleges, the university I went to had a lot of bullcrap fees. Most of these were inevitable, but we also had a printing fee for us to use the printer around campus. Effectively, we were required to pay $25 at the beginning of each semester and would be deducted for each page we printed, less than a penny per page. Fast forward to my senior year. Before we graduate, we are required to do an exit interview with our financial counselor to understand our balance and repayment plans. That's when I noticed I still had around $90-ish on my printing balance. Obviously, I didn't want to pay for something I didn't use, so I asked how I'll get that money back. Apparently, there's simply no way they could reimburse me, and that I may still need to print paper before graduating. That's when they screwed up. Let me rewind a bit. If you were on campus Wi-Fi, you had access to any public printer on campus at any given time. That means if the library was out of paper, I could print it to my dorms and pick it up on the way to my room. Let me reiterate. I could print to any of the 30+ printers no matter my location. Sure enough, my counselor was right. I did have to print something before graduating. I had to print this over 400 times on each printer simultaneously. Recently learned they have a new printing policy now. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you liked it and you're new around here, consider subscribing. And if you really liked it, maybe give it a thumbs up and a share. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.